The Lions! I love talking about the Lions. I mean, who doesn't love talking about the Lions? Right? I've already made a video about the Lions this offseason. It was my first solo video. If you haven't already checked that video out, go make sure you check that video out. But I've been a really big supporter and positive thinker about the Lions these recent seasons. It sucked to see the product on the field disappoint me. A lot of that has come down to, I feel, injuries and a little bit of Detroit Lions bad luck. But I don't think this team is that far off with a couple of additions and a good offseason from being a team that could compete for a playoff spot. So let's talk about the Lions. Offensive line, let's start there. So Glasgow seems to be gone, I believe. That would mean that the guard position is probably going to be a position that you need to sign someone, you need to draft someone, and even then, the left guard is already a weakness in your offense. So I would say Andrus Peat would be a guy in free agency that I would look for them to target because he's big, he's strong, and that is the type of Patricia offensive lineman that he really likes. Plus, Patricia is an offensive line type of guy. I believe he coached offensive line in New England, at least at some point in his career, as a assistant under Scarnecchia. So he values offensive line. And I'm interested to hear why Glasgow actually is not going to be a part of the team. I don't know if it's a difference in he wants to play center or what it is really, but I've heard that he wants out and they are willing to move on. So that might be a draft pick scenario. But Ragnow's good at center. Decker's good at tackle. Wagner's okay. But this offensive line definitely could use some work, and they might look to the draft to do that. Wide receiver, they're good. I think even re-signing Jermaine Kearse would be a smart add. But Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, and Danny Amendola are a good three, a good trio. I don't think you need to go out in free agency and sign anyone, really. Maybe just a lower name like a Jermaine Kearse, somebody of that caliber. Maybe like a Philip Dorsett or like a, let me see, like a smaller name. Paul Richardson, take a chance on him. Taylor Gabriel, add some speed. Devin Funchess, like a smaller name. Tajay Sharp, one of those type of guys. Nobody major. TJ Hawkinson, Jesse James, you have your tight end duo there. Matt Stafford is back. Matt Stafford is not being traded. Matt Stafford will be the franchise quarterback for the Lions because he's one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the league. You heard it here. There's no doubt in my mind, and I don't think he should be traded, and I don't think it makes sense to trade him because his contract is absolutely not tradable. And who are you going to find that is better than Matt Stafford in the league that is not already signed or the team is willing to get rid of? Nobody. So Matt Stafford is the move. Kerryon Johnson has been injured a lot. Bo Scarborough played well in replacing him, and I think that's a good one too. I would look to bring in, you have Ty Johnson and McKissick, but I'd like to bring in another pass-catching type of back in this offense to help out Stafford out of the backfield, kind of like you had in Theo Riddick. Theo Riddick's time just passed, but somebody that can catch the football out of the backfield would be a nice add. I think Scarborough and Johnson are good enough on the ground to get it done. Defensively, you look at edge and defensive line, which are both big needs. I think Hand should play more in the interior than anything. Mike Daniels, I've heard they could re-sign. A'Shawn Robinson could be gone. Danny Shelton makes sense because of the Patriot connection, but he also makes sense for this defense, period. I could see guys like them going after DJ Reader. I predicted that to happen. I could very well see that. I think that's the type of guy that fits this defense. Hargrave's the type of guy. Shelby Harris is the type of guy. There's a lot of them in this free agency, which I think is good news for Lions fans. Derek Wolfe, Billings, all these guys here, Jernigan, Covington, all fit the Lions' interior issues. You're not going to really find, unless you trade for Chris Jones or you sign DJ Reader, you're not going to find a great pass rushing interior force. There's just not a lot of those that aren't signed to teams. So you have to look to the edge. And outside of Trey Flowers, I think what the Lions really need is that hybrid linebacker edge type of player. The Kyle Van Noy, the Bud Dupree, the Fowler, the Clowney, if they want. one of these type of guys, even like Irvin or Beasley, they need to upgrade the edge. Sheared. They need to be more athletic up front, but they also, like, too many times I saw Trey Flowers playing that role, and he just doesn't fit it. Flowers is better at pass rushing from the interior. He's not excellent from the edge. He's good. He's not excellent. He had a good season last year, but you need those edge athletic guys. And to me, when I look at the Lions' defensive line last year, they're just too slow, too big. They're big, and that's great. But you need also to throw in those athletic pieces. And also, you could see that at linebacker. Do the Lions try and sign a Corey Littleton or a Jamie Collins or a Schobert or a Campbell or a Kendricks? A linebacker that is a hybrid in terms of he can blitz, he could cover, he could stop the run. And I think that's the type of guy that they value. Landon Roberts makes a lot of sense because Patricia absolutely loves that guy. I think he did an interview like a month ago where he said, "That's my boy." Like, that's how much he loves him. So Landon Roberts, just because he's a Patriot, I'm not just saying it because of that. He loves him. I'm just telling you. Okay, secondary. Tavon Wilson, I hope, is back because he played pretty well last year for them. Tracy Walker is their free safety. They got rid of Diggs to Seattle, which I think was a bad move, personally. Darius Slay might be traded. So what do? Do you sign Byron Jones and trade Darius Slay, and then you draft the stud in the draft, Okudah? Or what's your decision? Because you have Justin Coleman in the slot. That's good. But does Darius Slay stay, or does he go? And that's the ultimate question at corner for the Lions. And I think really it all works from there. Do you trade Slay? If you don't, what happens? If you trade Slay, do you sign someone? If you don't trade Slay, do you keep him and add a number 2 corner, or do you just draft Okudah and then go from there? If you keep Slay, you sign a big name edge guy, and then you draft Okudah in your secondary, and your front look a lot better. So I think it all falls starting with Darius Slay, and that's how you'll be able to figure out what the Lions are doing. But I like the Lions roster. I think they need to add an athletic linebacker, edge player, hopefully a dynamic edge player. They need to replace their defensive linemen, whatever they do there. They have the money to do so. Guard, they'll probably draft, and I think they're good. I think they can be good. And as long as they don't lose Matt Stafford to long-term injury, they should be fine.